Welcome to the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. For group exercise junkies and enthusiastic classgoers, we'll explore and uncover authentic, thought-provoking, and heartwarming industry education and inspiration from entertaining, badass fitness pros. And now your host, creator of Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, and Warrior Kids Group fitness brands, Ellen DeWord. Here we grow.
I'm so excited because today I have here with me on Confessions of a Group X Instructor, the one and only Sara Kooperman. I'm so excited. So, Sara, I think you're going to love my audience. Let me tell you who my audience is. Definitely a ton of group fitness instructors and also quite a few managers. They've been letting me know and letting the show know that they're sharing this podcast with their teams of instructors. So this is right up your alley. And I'm going to start off by reading your kind of formal bio. So the big one, the big bio. Sara Kooperman, JD, Juris Doctorate. She's a lawyer. She has a law degree. Sara Kooperman, CEO of SCW Fitness Education, WATERinMOTION, and S.E.A.T Fitness. S.E.A.T is an acronym. What does it stand for again?
S.E.A.T, Supported Exercise for Ageless Training. Oh. It's not seated, it's supported. So you start in a chair, you do a couple tracks, but then you can also stand up and use the chair as a balancing support. Kind of cool.
I love that. I actually love the psychology behind that too, because not all active agers want to think I need to be seated, you know? Okay, carry on. And S.E.A.T Fitness is a visionary leader that has transformed the fitness education community. A successful business owner and advisor, she is a keynote speaker, published author, webinar host, podcast presenter, and sought-after industry trailblazer. Kooperman has launched 7 successful live MANIA fitness professional conventions, another 6 streaming conferences, and more than 40 live and online certifications. Her company has touched more than 100,000 fitness professionals face-to-face, engaged another 300,000 plus in virtual connections, and produced over 600 fitness instructor training videos. Kooperman currently serves on IHRSA's Headlight Committee for Facility Standards, is a co-host of IHRSA's Talks and Takes monthly talk show, and sits on the ACSM Communication and Public Information Committee. She is also part of the Gold's Gym think tank and the canfitpro advisory panel, and was a founding board member of the Women in Fitness Association, WIFA. Love them. Recently nominated for the 2022 Idea Fitness Leader of the Year Award, Kooperman won the 2022 Most Innovating Fitness Pro by Fitness Industry Technology Council. She is also an inductee into the National Fitness Hall of Fame at Illinois State Businesswoman of the Year and a winner of AEA's Global Award for contribution to the aquatic industry. I literally need to drink water after reading that bio. It was so long and impressive. Oh my goodness. So in my own words, Sara Kooperman is just like she's a powerful woman and a boss lady. And I'm so happy to have her here. Sara, introduce yourself a little bit to our crew.
I told Ellen before I got on, I was like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I'm an entrepreneur, which makes us insane. Insane people loving what we do.
Yes.
It's very interesting. I don't like this term. Like, I kind of want to slap the people that use this term that say, I am blessed to be blah, blah, blah. It's like, but I feel really, really lucky to be able to be in an industry I love, and that is cool. You can go crazy when you're working and stuff like that, but being in this industry, we're really lucky. I'm a quote unquote blessed person.
You are definitely quote unquote blessed and a little crazy side. A little crazy. You're a little crazy.
I know I'm a little, well, that's why I'm on with you.
I know. I know. I'm proud of us for actually finding the time for each other.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
well, yeah, and you're a mom of kids. You've
I have four. I have four boys. I have a 33-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a 26-year-old. I have four boys. So like my house is like testosterone filled. It's just the way it is. And somebody, it was funny, a friend of mine wrote me a text and he said to me, he goes, I basically the Blackhawks beat the Kraken, which is the Seattle hockey team, and I'm with the Blackhawks, which is the Chicago hockey team. And I basically I was texting, I said, suck it, you guys lost. This was like a week ago, over a week ago. And this guy texted me, he goes, that's why I love you, because you're such a guy. And I thought, am I such a guy? Like,
Yeah,
is that a compliment? And I thought, I don't
you're
know.
also like dripping in femininity, like pencil skirt, heels, diamonds, dressed always to the nines, but you also say suck it. So
It's like
you have both.
usually not on a webinar, but yeah. Yeah, but it's you.
This webinar is different. Yeah, you know me. So this webinar is different. In fact, when we get into we're gonna talk about the secret sauce of SCW. We also want to talk about your new book. So we have lots of topics today, but yeah, because it's me and because you know how I am, I want to have sort of our hair down and more of like a raw look at Sara Kooperman. So
Yeah,
anyway,
okay.
tell us how SCW started, like, the whole.
Oh, this is a good story. You'll like it. And tell me if I get too edgy because it's you, but so this was 39 years ago. 39 years ago. I'd already been in business for a couple of years doing workshops, and I opened a studio and, did some smart and stupid things all at the same time. And my husband and I were with our best friends, and we're walking down Halsted Street in Chicago, and it was Midnight Mania. And we basically, what happens is on Halsted Street, you go bar to bar to bar to bar. So we were smashed in Chicago on Halsted, which is a big bar. Yeah. So we were totally smashed. No kids yet. We weren't married. The whole bit. And I said, I'm going to do an event and I'm going to call it Midwest Mania because it was Midnight Mania. And
oh my gosh.
so that's how we came up with the name, because
No way.
yeah, that's how we came up with Mania. And then it kind of stuck and the reason we did Midwest Mania and didn't call it like Chicago Mania, like we do Dallas Mania, Atlanta Mania, Boston Mania, is because we had been doing workshops that were the best of. So we'd gone to St. Louis, I can't remember all the different cities we did in the Midwest. So we thought we'd call it
I see.
Midwest. We thought we would call
to encompass a few.
Yeah, yeah. So we called it Midwest Mania, and then it became like Maniacs, and it's kind of a fun name. It's a fun name, and it is
a fun name. I'm glad it's Midwest because you also have like a lot of people from Indiana that come and Wisconsin. Like it's a ton.
Wisconsin.
Yes, it is.
Iowa. It's packed.
Yes, it's ton. Okay, I didn't know that about. I didn't know the story about you being smashed. See, that's the perfect kind of juicy detail. As needs.
Melissa Lane would have a heart attack. She's always like, Sarah, alcohol is bad for your sleep. And then when you don't sleep, you
Hey, it helped you launch a business, basically.
It did.
But wait, back up to the Sarah City workout, like that whole piece of it.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I got when I graduated, oh my gosh. All right. I'll start back in law school. So
yes.
When I was an undergraduate in college, I unfortunately, my senior year of high school, I had to get a foot operation because my foot grew wrong. I was in toe shoes really early. I used to be a dancer, and I damaged my foot. And so I had to get my toe straightened because it had been all smashed up. So I got the toe surgery and I couldn't dance. And then when I went to college, then it was like, whoa, I could dance. And that was because there was no such thing as rehab back 9,000 years ago. I used to swim, and then I'd sit in the hot tub and rub it after the surgery, and it repaired. Okay. So
that's what you did for physical therapy.
That's what I did but there was no physical therapy.
Oh, you just
it hadn't been born yet. That's how freaking old I am. Like I remember the first color TV. Do you realize how old I am?
No.
It's freaky.
No.
It's freaky. No cell phones. Oh my gosh. No, the biggest innovation I experienced was a fax machine. Okay, so I go finish college, and I start dancing while I'm in college, and I start teaching aerobics, and I'm like, this is an awesome way to stay in shape. And I tried dancing professionally. I was with a very cool dance company in Minnesota. That's where I went to college.
You look like a ballerina.
I was a dancer. It was jazz. I loved ballet, modern, the whole bit, tap, everything. But what I did was I started teaching aerobics, and that at the YMCA, my first place.
I love YMCA.
I loved it.
YMCAs, yes.
But I didn't because I like to teach. I performed with the dance company, and I got a solo and the whole thing. I was good. I was really good. But I didn't performing. It just didn't do it for me. It was teaching. So I started teaching aerobics. So when I went and I decided I didn't want to be a dancer, so I had to get a graduate degree because I'm a nice Jewish girl, and I had to get a graduate degree. And I thought I'll go to law school. Like, what the heck? So I went to law school, and in law school, I started getting, you put on 10 pounds, 15 pounds. I'm like, this is not happening in my watch. So I started teaching aerobics in the basement of the English Lit department. And then one of my students was a teacher, and she got me a beautiful hall. I was at WashU in St. Louis, really great school. And she got me a big hall. I used to get 50 people
in your
Monday, Wednesday, Friday night, and they were paying me $3 a head cash. That's huge. That's $450 cash.
I'm going to get rich as an instructor.
No taxes, or I'm taking cash, and this is when people carried cash, and I thought, I think this aerobics thing is going to catch on. So when I met my husband in law school, and I decided I'm going to try opening a studio. And when I graduated, I took the bar, I passed the bar. I was, but I said, I'm going to try opening a business. So that's how I opened the studio. And I opened the studio, and I lost all my money in my first year. I lost, we're talking over 40 years ago. I lost $35,000. That's like $300,000 now. I lost. And
close it? What is at that point after year one? Did you close it?
Well, what I did was while I owned the studio, this is before the internet. Okay. This is before computers
or Facebook.
This is before any of that. I had the yellow pages for the state of Illinois, and I decided I was going to do a workshop training instructors how to teach low impact, because low impact was just starting, and it was like seen as the devil. And I thought, I love low impact. This is kind of like dancing, but cardio.
Wait, you mean like high low or just low impact?
It was just low. Nobody was doing low. Nobody knew about high low. I'm talking a long time ago, my dear friend Ellen. I'm talking when it first started.
I've never heard of low. I've heard of high low. And now it's high.
And nobody knew. I was teaching high impact. I was like the high impact freak queen, like at East Bank Club. And I was teaching it, but this low impact stuff was starting, and I thought it was really good. So I ordered the entire state of Illinois' yellow pages. Like if you've ever watched the movie The Intern with, I think, who is it? Sandra Bullock and Robert De Niro. It's like yellow pages. That was yellow. That was our Google. and I tore
remember.
out.
Like, I remember it was like a book, and some of the pages were white and some of the pages were yellow. And the white were like people's phone numbers, and the yellow was ads.
Was ads, and it had, I know, it's insane. And so I tore out all the health club and dance studios. And I had to send paper. You can't email, there was no internet. So I went to, this is the smartest thing I ever did. My dad taught me. My dad was the coolest guy. I loved my dad so much because my mother was a lunatic. So my dad said, SJ, because that's my nickname, Sarah Jane, SJ, go get sticky labels, 3 up and 10 down, and have 27 of them because there's 27 letters in the alphabet, and type it up on your Selectric typewriter, because there were no computers.
Typewriters.
And I typed it up, and I would put all the A's together, all the B's together. And so if anybody moved, I could update them. And that's how we started our database. And that's how I started doing workshops. And then it grew to one day I woke up and I said, you know what? I love doing low impact, but Steve Wright is this guy. He's better at strength. I'll get him to teach strength and I'll do the low impact. And then I got somebody else to do like another workshop on, I don't know what it was. And so I have this thing about, I really love it. It's a kind of an illness. I love to find talent and nurture it. And I'm very happy being behind the scenes, which may sound really weird, but it makes sense if you understand my desire kind of not to be a professional dancer, but to the love of teaching.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think it's super important to, even in me and my business, like I don't need to be the face of everything all the time. No one needs to see my face and hear my voice all the time. I also love to like seek talent, recruit, train, and elevate other people. And anyway, I didn't know so much of that story. I can't believe about the yellow pages. And I can't believe your business mind for like starting a database like that with 27 Post-it notes.
Oh my God. And then when we built a website. I had some dude in my office put the website together, the first one. Oh my God, it was horrific.
Back when the internet was born, you mean?
Back when the internet. Do you know what our first labels and our first badges were made from Word Perfect on the envelopes, the labels. Those were our first badges because there was like no event thing. There was no event computer program. And my girlfriend, Susan, we're still really close friends. She's a trader. So she would trade, commodities, but she would never trade meat because she doesn't believe in it. She's really cool. She was
I'm on the West Coast. Everyone's out here, and everyone believes in meat, except for the hunters. They do.
She was out there before people were out there, before out there was cool.
Okay.
So she traded oranges, and she was a commodities trader. So she let me use her computer in the evenings after 3 p.m. after the board closed, trading closed.
You didn't have a computer?
I didn't have I couldn't afford anything. But this was, again, when computers were just invented. My first computer was a portable, and it was bigger than any desktop you've ever seen. Like, I remember when they were invented and brought to the public.
Wait, but let's back up. So why do you think you wanted to do, like, to create an education center, for lack of a better way of describing it? Like, why did you, is that like, have you just always loved education? I mean, is that what it stems from? Is it, or is it a combination? It's a combination of your love for education and your love for.
Yeah, you know what? It's very funny, Ellen. I never ever thought about that, but I think as teachers, all of us as group fitness people, we get this weird joy when people are able to follow us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we get more excited when the class is together than when we're standing up. You remember when you first start teaching and you're staring at yourself in the mirror and everybody's behind you when you're just looking at yourself? That's not teaching. What's teaching is when we turn around and the whole group is doing something. And I think we all have that in us. Maybe, and I don't want to be sexist. I think maybe part of it's being a mom, watching these people surpass our expectations. And
Yes.
oh, that's the dog. Sorry,
Okay.
Buster. No.
Hey, this is my podcast. Everyone's gonna hear animals all the time.
Oh
That's
yeah. Oh yeah. So I think that teaching thing is pretty, and I do believe in education. I do love education. I even, in a sick way, probably enjoyed law school.
I think you did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about where the 7 conventions are. We've obviously already talked about Midwest, but Sarah's from the Midwest.
Oh.
So I'm also from the Midwest. Don't forget.
And the interesting thing is, we started in Chicago because that's our home base. And then I went to visit a friend of mine, who actually are the godparents of my oldest son, Ellen and Debbie. They had a store in Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta and I'm walking around Atlanta visiting their t-shirt store. And I looked at all these people and they're wearing fitness clothes. And I thought, I'm going to do an event here. That was our second MANIA. And so
are you serious? You're just like, oh, look at all the fit people here.
I know. This is like idiot 101. Never do what I do. Always do your geography.
You didn't like market test it. You're just like,
oh my God, no.
People in their leggings.
So I rented a van because we didn't have a car. I mean, we had one car, but my husband had to drive it to work. Anyway, we got a car. I rented a van, and with somebody else, I drove from city to city to city around Atlanta.
Okay.
And that's how we promoted the event. And I was gone like, I don't know how many weekends in a row because there was no internet. I didn't have anybody
around and like door knock or go to clubs and be like,
I called the clubs, but this is when you could call clubs. You could call clubs and all the instructors got mail. So we could send them a stack of flyers and they could put it in the mail slots.
Yeah.
And the instructors got it and they would come and take the class, and it would be very inexpensive. And we got a lot of people, and I publicized the convention.
Okay.
And that's how we started Atlanta. And then with Dallas.
Then Dallas. Okay.
We did that. And actually, California, I bought California Mania. It used to be Cardio Classic.
Right.
And it was in San Francisco. And I'm being such an idiot. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. And I really like her. And for years she came to the show. And you want to hear about people buying or selling businesses, and it's always this animosity and blah blah blah. This was so lovely and so well done. And we kept her business going, because a lot of times businesses get purchased and then they kind of fall apart.
Yes. Side note, I've heard that similarly, a lot of second generation, like dad opened a business, now the son runs it. A lot of second generation businesses fail. And I think it's because maybe it was the first generation or the parent or the original owner, maybe it was their passion.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting, because you don't really, you don't know that it's, if whatever. So,
like what? If you don't know if it's going to succeed, you don't know.
You never know if it's going to succeed. I didn't know if it was going to succeed without her, but it did. And we actually moved the venue and grew it, and it does really well. But we grew California, and then we have Boston. And the reason I wanted to go to Boston is because Boston people are smart. I swear to God. And my son was in college there, and my other son was in prep school there. And I just love Boston. So, and I dated a guy who was in Boston, so whatever. So
oh my God.
The city. Oh yeah. He was my first real love, whatever. Anyway, so So we have Boston and then Washington, D.C. The reason we started D.C., it's our newest one, which is still, several years old. But the reason we started DC was I was a Les Mills agent for 10 years distributing Body Pump, the Body Pump program, Body Flow, Body Combat.
Yeah, I was hot for 14 years, Body Pump.
Yeah, and it's an amazing program. And their main office, their home office was outside DC in Maryland. And they kept saying, Sarah, would you do a MANIA there? Would you do a MANIA there? Would you do? And I'm like, okay. And so we did that. And that's why we started DC.
Oh my goodness. So,
Yeah.
Wait, which one was the cute leggings? San Francisco was the leggings. Boston was the cute guy, and
I know.
and DC was Les Mills. Okay.
Yeah, in Florida, we just had a lot of people from Florida that wanted their own event. That Atlanta was very, very big.
Okay.
So the Floridians wanted their own event. So Orlando's right in the middle of the state. It works really well.
Okay.
And plus my staff is in Chicago. Can't we go?
I was gonna
Now
ask you.
they're pushing me. Now they want to go. They want to go to Hawaii. They want to go to Vegas. I'm like, would you just leave me alone? I don't want to do anymore. You're killing me. Every 6 weeks we're in a truck. It's like crazy.
So do you have a favorite MANIA? Is Midwest MANIA your favorite? Because it's like
No,
home?
Midwest is not my favorite. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. No,
I know.
people are very
It's a
demanding.
podcast. Be careful.
Oh, whatever. They're
favorite.
You know what? Okay, I'll tell you what I like about everyone.
Okay.
I like Boston because the people are smart, direct. It grows year to year. They know what they want. We're at that Ferncroft Hotel, that DoubleTree Hotel. It's kind of hard to get to from the airport. It's a little bit of a pain. Great hotel. We take over the whole hotel. I know what I'm going to get every time, and it keeps growing. We grew 23.7% from 22 to 23, and we grew 88.9% from 2021 to 2023. So it's a very solid event. So that's why I love Boston. I'm going to go down DC. DC is small, but I like that the hotel, like the parking's free. The hotel is very open, very accessible, easy to find everything. That's why I like that hotel. Easy. And the people are wonderful. It was a little stressful because there's another DC event, and I really like Jamie Nichols. And I think she's a great person. I really like her. And I liked that event, and I felt really guilty that we were there. I didn't even know they were there. Such a moron. But you have 4 kids and a dog and 6 conventions, so you just do what you're told with the blinders on. And so we moved 6 months away from them, which I thought made her happy. I hope. I don't know. And then Atlanta, I love. But I used to like the other hotel better than this hotel.
Okay.
Because this hotel in Atlanta feels kind of like a maze. You know what I mean? Like
I haven't been to Atlanta or Florida. I'll tell you why in a minute. But
okay, Atlanta is just so dear awful. It's crowded. It's a busy event. So we're always looking for something with a little bigger foyer so we can have better, more exposure. But everybody loves it. So I love Atlanta. Dallas.
Yes, I love Dallas.
Yeah, everybody loves Dallas. And I love the Westin.
I do too.
Dallas may be my favorite. And then Midwest, they're a little more demanding because we've been there for 9,000 years. And then San Francisco, it's just great to get out west.
Yeah. The only 2 manias that we haven't gone to, the Warriors, is Atlanta and Florida. And that's only because we've had conflicts with my production, the video production that we do. I schedule the production weekends almost a full year in advance. So then I saw that those weren't going to work for me. So those are the only ones that we haven't been to. So, okay, tell us about so I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone listening to this podcast that doesn't know you, that loves group exercise, that loves education, that is maybe interested in going to a Mania, but doesn't really know what to expect. So would you just kind of explain like the lay of the land, like, they check in and there's these different types of sessions, there's these different tracks, and kind of explain like what they get, when they come to a
Well,
Mania.
the coolest thing, I don't know if you can you make me a co-host and I can show him on the screen? Well, this is a podcast.
It is a
I
podcast.
can't show him on the screen. Okay. The best thing about our conferences is that you get to know everybody. Like you will see UTV behind registration. You'll see Denise running around with equipment with Sean Carlson, who pretends she's going to hide, but she doesn't hide. Always runs our AV. Chris Purple is running around with running our cameras. We're very innovative, but we're really approachable and really friendly. So we have 8 rooms going on simultaneously, always. We have 7 sessions on Friday, 6 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. So if you add it up, it's 17 sessions. Okay. And you pick 1 per hour. So we have a big hit room. We have a real big active aging and function room. We have a big mind body room. We have a personal training room. We have a cycle room sometimes. Only about half of the shows have cycle. We'd like to have them at every one, but it's just the way it is. Cycle and sometimes rowing. And then we have a pool session going on. We're very big with yoga, Pilates, mind, body. I almost forgot that. And then we have a nutrition lecture. The nutrition lectures grew so big that I had to split them off from the business lectures. And then we have a business room, which is perfect for boutique studio owners, independent health clubs, managers of like 24-hour fitness, as big as they come. And we have this business lecture room. So there's 8 rooms going simultaneously, and you get to select. You pre-register wherever you want to go, but when the beauty is when you get on site, you can kind of go to any room.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is
So
great.
you get like a brochure. You get a brochure. There's brochures like online, so you can look
Yeah.
at full lay of the land, but you also get actually a physical one in the mail. And I actually like to just kind of take a Sharpie. So now that I'm like comfortable presenting there, which I'll talk about my experience with SCW shortly, but now that I'm like really comfortable, I also want to go to I want to take sessions too. So you kind of can like figure out, you map it out and you figure out where you want to take. And maybe there's like 4 workouts that you want to do in one day. You don't have to go crazy. You can sit and watch. Like I even give people permission in my sessions that are workout sessions. Like if you've already gone crazy working out today, you're welcome to like sit and take notes and watch parts or, not work really hard. But you pick out what you want. You get tons of continuing ed credits. And you're just kind of in an environment that's elevated and people that share your common, everyone there, you have something in common with this love for changing lives and, helping others and education and fitness. So it's a really cool environment for networking. There's a keynote that's always really fun. And yeah, the staff is amazing. They're kind of like a family. You call them like your family with weird uncles or whatever. I don't know if you've heard you say
It's like we're a 3-ring circus. That's where the logo comes in. We've been doing this quite a long time, and we're all survivors. All of us that work so hard, we're all survivors.
I was gonna say they're very, very hardworking and yes, approachable. There's always SCW staff around. There's staff assistants, which is an opportunity also for lay people, anyone to come at a discounted rate, so that they can come and they can help out in a room, maybe man the camera, man the door. Am I allowed to say man?
And we have scholarships. We've
Oh, yeah.
if Sean, my creative director, always tells me, don't tell everybody this, but we have never turned down an applicant to a scholarship because all they have to demonstrate is that they're interested in education. They really want to go, but they have financial need. So we have a scholarship. It's scwfit.com/Scudder. SCUDDER, and it's named after Michael Scott Scudder, who really helped us launch our business track. And it's for any entrepreneur, whether you're a group fitness or PT, or you want to own a chain of clubs, any entrepreneur that has the financial need. And then we just launched this year. It's AHRSA. It's a Thai name, ATCHARA. It's like AHRSA. If you do it on Siri on your iPhone, you have to say AHRSA, but it's AHRSA, and it's scwfit.com/AHRSA, ATCHARA, and is for any personal trainer who has the financial need but a commitment to education. They can come free to our conference. And my girlfriend just passed away about a month ago of pancreatic cancer, Achara Sisawa. She was a very dear friend. We're friends for 20 years. She's Thai, and anyway, so we did that scholarship also in her honor. So we like our scholarships because we don't want to deny anybody access. And like you said, our support staff, they monitor our doors and they do everything, and they get the whole show for like the less than half price, which is great.
So, and it's true, you do see repeat people like SCW staff and also conference goers. You see like familiar faces from year to year to year. All right, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk and shift, because some of the people that listen to this podcast are people kind of like me. Like maybe they have their own program or their own format, or they're entrepreneurial, or they want to be, or they're aspiring. So, or they have maybe they have a talent for presenting. So I want to shift gears and talk about a presenter. Like, I want to ask you, what does it take to, and how do you open your application process, and what does that look like? See, I came into the SCW circuit backwards. I came into SCW not as a conference goer, unfortunately, because because now I see how cool it is. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have loved doing that. But I came in it backwards. I came into SCW as a presenter for Beachbody, actually. So I've always been the one on stage. And that's why I'm like starting now to like try to find holes in my schedule where I can walk away from my booth and like sit in on Dane or anyone, Siri or someone, and learn. But okay, so what does it take? What skills are you looking for? How do they apply? Is there a need? Just talk to us a little bit about the presenters.
There is always a need, because we want young, new presenters as well. And it doesn't mean young, I want you, when you're 22. That's fine. I would love 22-year-olds.
Yes.
But even
young like
to the
us,
industry.
like young young energy and new and original, fresh. Like,
So we have scwfit.com/presenter. That's how you apply to present. And it's also on the tab of every website. Now, this is what's interesting. What happened over COVID was we always had a brochure, and then we had our registration website, where you register. But now we have a brochure, a website, and a registration platform as well. So we used to just have the platform and the brochure, but now we have to have all three, which is very demanding. And we have a downloadable schedule on our website, which is really good to have, so people can see all this stuff. And on the tab under presenters or faculty, you can see the applications right there to apply to present. And what we look for, we have to have somebody who has a little bit of experience. It doesn't need like, oh, I presented for, let's say, DCAC with Jamie Nichols, or let's say with Janice Jakes from Fitness Fest, or IDEA, okay? It's great if they've had experience, but they could also have been like a professor at a college, or done workshops locally for their community center. It doesn't need to,
they have that,
but they have to have some experience, or else they're going to get chewed up and spit out at a MANIA, because it's
a high level. It's a high level. The presenters are very quality. And I should also say, it's a different skill set, similar, but it is different presenting than just being a great fitness instructor.
Oh yeah.
It's a different level.
It's harder.
It's harder. It is harder.
People in your class regularly they can follow you. They
Yeah.
know your stuff. They know your routine, baby. They're on.
Yeah.
But as a presenter, all these people, they don't know your cues. They don't know your system. They don't know
Yes,
the wave.
that's exactly right. And as an aside, and a really important point is the instructors out there listening, we should, and I live this, I do this. I practice what I preach here. I don't get sloppy like that in my classes. Like, I think it's easy to do, to just, we know we're good, we get comfortable, they know our cues, we show up maybe not in our best outfit. I just think, like, always kind of dressing metaphorically for that job we want, not the job we have, and showing up to your own classes like you're a presenter, showing up teaching as if they don't know your cues, even though they, showing up dressed the way you would want to form a first impression, even if they have seen you 5 million times. Introducing yourself like you're not their friend, but like you're the boss of the classroom that day. I think practicing that, like, a great way to get your presenter muscles in shape if you're interested in that, but you're not there yet, is just show up to your own classes like you're a presenter. Introduce your format like you're a presenter. Walk in the room like you're a presenter. I think that's like, conduct yourself on social media like you are living a presenter's lifestyle. I think those are great first steps.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And we've given people second, third chances if we've had to, if we see like a spark of talent, but they just don't know. And then it's a little scary, being the owner. A lot of times my staff doesn't want to be the one to like go back to a presenter and say, you need to fix your outline, or you need to think about showing up on time, and we can't have you be late. And no, I'm serious.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. And for the record, I've never been talked to by SCW.
No, you haven't. But it's like, but if there's talent there, we want it. And then we also have Fitness Idol.
Yes, I was going to say, perfect time.
It's, again, here I go with the stupid website, SCW, like Sarah's City Workout, scwfit.com/idol, IDOL. And you can just get up there and apply to present. And it was crazy at the last conference.
Yes.
Nobody showed up. Nobody pre-registered. And I said, well, we got to show up, and then we'll just tell everybody, nobody's applying to present. And it was totally cool that this staff assistant who'd heard about it at the staff assistant meeting just showed up and said, I still want to do it. And we said, okay. And we're thinking, oh, this is gonna be a nightmare. They turned out to be so amazing. They're presenting the next year. So they get to present, bring a friend for free, eat in the suite, comes to the party, attend the whole conference, and they get free certification. We don't pay them or anything, but my gosh, they get all
hello. They get to freshen up their resume. It's amazing. Okay, wait, let me back up. I think that a lot of people, don't know about Idol. So if you're going to go to an SCW, I know a lot of our listeners actually also do go to SCWs. P.S. There's 30 warriors coming to DC in February. So I'm so excited. So far, it'll probably be more than that. But, Idol is, you just come prepared and you get to go present. And then there's a few other, it's like Sarah will be there, of course. And then a few other presenters actually are your judges. And there's some categories that,
I think at one point we asked you, but you take such good care of your warriors. You take such good care of your instructors. It makes me cry. It's so beautiful. You take great care of them. But we always have 4 presenters that are there. And then if you compete, and you win, you get a mentor.
Yes.
Who will help you with your PowerPoint and your presentation skills.
I have done one with them. Sarah, I did one. I don't know how yes. Okay, let me back up. Yes, I take good care of my warriors. So what she's talking about is when we go to conferences, I have, Sarah, you should actually join this Facebook group. I have a Facebook group. It's private, and it is for the warrior instructors that are interested in going to conferences. And whatever conferences we go to, we advertise in there, we promote in there. If they run any kind of a promotion or anything, the links to the hotels, if there's a free shuttle to the airport, like all the information about we're always posting it. It's a very active, very good group. You should get in there. So anyway, we plan a whole itinerary. So SCW has their schedule, and then the Warriors kind of have a schedule around it. We do like a team dinner and a team photo shoot and some team building activities and stuff like that. So some level up opportunities. So we use it as an opportunity to honestly give people like even more bang for their buck if they're traveling. And I don't know what, Sarah, I never intended this to happen when I created Warrior. Well, I didn't even intend to create Warrior. It kind of just created itself. And I've just been trying to keep up with it.
I know. You said like, how did you do MANIA?
I don't know.
I
was
don't know.
trying to create programming for myself. And then now all this is happening. But anyway, I didn't know that conferences, because I remember I didn't start out as a conference goer myself. I didn't realize like what a cool thing that was, but apparently it really is. So people will come from all over, like, to these conferences. Like I had someone from Idaho come to your Boston event to
we get a lot of people from Europe.
And a lot of times they just want to go to
Yeah.
that location, or they might bring their family. So they're doing SCW education all day, and then they go to family stuff at night with their family in DC. So anyway, my point was, I'm already going to I know I'm going to lose my train of thought if I don't hurry up and find it again, but something about, the idol. I'm back. I call that back
there
on the
she goes.
So sometimes, so she was saying I can't always help with the judging and stuff because I'm out doing Warrior stuff. But this particular one, Sarah, I was a judge, and I can't remember where we were. I never remember. I'm like, whatever state I was in. I never know what state I was just in, but one of the states I was in with you, I think it was California, but her name, and I'm just going to say it because she won't mind. And I talk about people on this podcast, so you better listen to find out if I'm talking about you. Her name is Condi, and I am her little mentor, and she was outstanding. So it was similar. Like you said, it was my first time being a judge on one, and I really enjoyed that because I like giving feedback. I'm like kind of nice, but I'm also very, very, very direct. And
you've got to be direct.
If you're a girl boss, if you if you run operations, you have to be honest and direct and be able to give feedback. And I'm pride myself on that. So anyway, I was like, I'm perfect for this job. So anyway, Sarah, this girl, her name was Condi. Anyway, I don't think she knew. I think it was like a similar situation where she like didn't know and her iPhone wasn't charged. And so she didn't like have music. And I am also very empathetic. So I'm like, oh my God, someone help her charge her phone. She wants to audition. Finally, she auditions, and she did something really cool. It was like for corporate wellness. Like, it was kind of like desk seat, like, sitting at your desk kind of exercise. And she was super fun. She clearly had the personality for presenting.
Yeah, and she's presenting at California Mania in
California.
2024.
Yes.
She is.
She's darling.
Yeah, because she emailed us, and she does a thing like desker size or something.
It's so cute. But Sarah, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Sarah's like huddles up with the presenters. It was like me and Manuel, and I can't remember, Kimberly, like maybe it was like a few of us. Spreen, I don't know, am I saying her name right? And Sarah's like, I don't know, she didn't have her music ready. I'm like, phone was dead, she didn't know she was gonna be here. And Sarah's like, I don't know about her. Like, she wasn't prepared. And Sarah's like, Ellen, you take her, you like her so much, you take her. And then, no, she's great, isn't she? She just didn't know, her phone was
didn't know. But I gotta tell you, it's like when you're running these shows, it's never the presenter's fault, it's always SCW's fault. And we get the blame, like the presenter was late, or the presenter's music didn't work, or the presenter, their equipment wasn't ready. And I hate to say this, but we have a big chart. We know, Ellen, we ask you exactly what equipment you need, and you will get it in time. Sometimes it has to go from one room to the other, but you will get it. We have this big Excel chart, and sometimes presenters request something different, and we're like, we can show them the email, we can show them the chart, we say, this is what you asked for, this is what you got, and yet they throw us under the bus.
No,
and we got it, but anyway, we still had her present, and she won, and with or without her music.
All right. Yeah. So that's idle. So anyway, and then from the presenter, before we wrap that little point and kind of take this thing home today, I did want to say that as a presenter, SCW does take really good care of us. Like, they help, obviously, like, help promote them and their business. Sarah, we promote your business. All our girls always, I say girls because it's mostly a bunch of girls that always come. They are always tagging SCW, making reels, making stories. So we take good care of SCW, but it's reciprocal. They help promote us, our business, in newsletters, webinar opportunities, and just like really do hold our hands like at the event. If you're a new presenter, they'll make sure there's someone in the room to make sure you know how to, get your mic and your PowerPoint and all that stuff. And there's, some time, you have a little bit of a time between you coming in and the next presenter leaving, and they do a little nice presenter dinner for the presenters. So we're well taken care of. So we wanted to thank you for that. So before we wrap, you just wrote a book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your book?
About my book. It's sitting over there. It's Fit for Business. And
Maybe I to write a book.
Well, it's oh, let me close my door because I'll disturb my son. Just one sec, please. I actually finished it during, I don't know if you can see it, Fit for Business. Okay, there you go. And I finished it during COVID, but I was listening to, oh my God, what's her name? Sandberg. She wrote Lean In. And oh, let me close my door. It flew open again. This dog comes in and out of my office, and I drive my son crazy because he works out of the house too. Anyway, I was listening to her book. I was doing audio, audibles. I was listening to it on tape, and some of the stuff she was saying just didn't work. Like, it's not going to work for an independent entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
You don't. Ellen, you and I were talking about how many staff we have or quote unquote don't have, and it's hard running a business. And I also, it's not fair. I have kids. I have 4 kids, and my kids are good and they're smart and they're respectful and they were raised right. And they were raised by me and my husband. Okay. I didn't farm them out. Okay. And yes, we had a nanny. But I think you can have it all. I really do. I think you can be happily married, same man, 36 years we've been married, 41 years we've been together, 4 kids, everybody's somewhat normal, the dog, the whole bit. And I think we need to set an example out there. And there is still so much sexism. I just can't begin to tell you. And as a woman, it's important for us to pass this on and share. And so that I got inspired by Lean In, and I would sit there and I was jogging. Now I walk, but back then I would jog. And I would dictate to myself on my phone, like I'd pause the book, and then I would dictate into my phone and send myself a voicemail that would end up to be a whole chapter on on managing a staff or building, building an organized.
Oh, I love that. Just when you would get it. By the way, not to interrupt you, but I've seen you dictate into your phone. She's always dictating into her phone. She's not walking down the halls like sending emails, dictating into her phone. You're dictating always. Okay. So anyway, you're like, yes, always. So you were just dictating chapters just in the moment. You'd be walking.
Yeah. And then I edited it. I was lucky enough that I went to Cambridge University in England, my undergrad, my summer and senior year, and it's very demanding. You have to be able to write. So I had a little bit of a leg up there, and the organizational and the writing from having gone to law school. I went to law school, I graduated, I passed the bar, the whole bit, and I just thought it was important. And so what I should have done is, this book is like 317 pages. I should have divided it up, but it's kind of nicely divided into chapters. It's got little almost like a little workbook area. And it's neat. And it got to be a bestseller on Amazon, both for new releases and in its business category, 2 places. So it's a bestseller, and it's like, I like it. It's really, it's cool. All I got to do now is get it to Oprah. And she used to
Oh,
Sarah
crap.
City Workout was Oprah's home workout
Chicago.
thing. Oh
Yes.
yeah.
It's happening. It's happening. I love it. That's so cool. Congratulations. That's so impressive. Okay, so this podcast is called Confessions of a Group Exercise Instructor because, we just kind of, I mean, you've already kind of revealed a few interesting things, like that Midwest Mania was inspired like in a state of questionable sobriety. Okay, do you have any confessions anything about your career that you want to share with us before we close?
Confessions.
Anything?
This is kind of interesting. I didn't, you sent it to me in an email and I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll figure something out. But what really comes to mind is I remember the first time I was involved with a company and I was supposed to do some work for them and represent them. And I did this over a long period of time, but the first time I did it, I literally, by the male owner, got cornered after I did my presentation. And I kind of made it very Sarah-esque, very comfortable. I know the fitness industry. I knew how to speak to these people, but it was in my language, not in their language.
Okay.
And I got yelled at for 45 minutes. I mean, I literally watched my watch and I took it for 45 minutes. I know. And I was like, I walked away and I remember seeing my husband that night. I like cried the whole night. And I talked to my husband and he's like, why did you take that? And then I'm telling you, the next time I ended up doing something like this again, I get yelled at again. But this time it only lasted probably about 20 minutes. And then I cut it short. And then the next time later,
Yes.
I stopped the whole conversation and I said, I know you need to express yourself, but at this point, I'm really not ready to hear it, but thank you for reaching out. So that was one of my confessions is how in the world this strong, independent, intelligent person can put up with this.
Yeah.
It all goes back to my mother, but that's a whole nother episode. But it's what I think the message is you can learn to get tougher.
Yes.
You can learn to make good business choices if you've made bad business choices. Everybody makes bad business choices. Everybody makes career mistakes. Everybody makes personal mistakes with relationships or with their kids or with their, their exes. That's why they're exes. It's like, but you can learn from them. So that's kind of my confession because I usually don't talk about that because it was so humiliating.
I love that. Yes, just hearing that when you started that, I was like, I can't believe you, who I know who you are. I said in the very beginning when I was editorializing and your bio, she's a powerful woman. I can't imagine you just taking it for 45 minutes. And so that I love that. And what I shared with you about me being able to being actually good at giving direct feedback, that's something that I could not have done as the younger version of myself was incapable of actually, Sarah, even correcting someone's form because I was so afraid of hurting their feelings. I just wanted everyone to like me. And so there's been like, I love that you shared that story. And I think that's such a wonderful note to end on, and it's inspiring. And I think we just should evaluate ourselves and when things happen, like we're on a journey and we're not done yet. And
yeah, the only other thing I was
you're like, I'm not taking it. I took it for 40 minutes, took it for 20 minutes. I'm not taking it.
My other confession is my favorite food is potato chips. There you go. That's a much better one.
I've seen you put down like a burger and French fries.
Oh man, talk to me on the Sunday of a Mania.
That's it. It was at the end of a Mania. I love that confession that you ended with. Yes, we're a work in progress and we can change and we become better versions of ourselves year after year after year. That was a good one.
Well, we just love having you. I just love having you at the show. You bring such an energy. And you remember when we were at the bar in California on that Sunday night, because I ended up staying over. It was so fun. It was great. You're really, really down to earth and you're incredibly talented. And I think when we first started speaking together, I was like, oh my God, you've got this. This is amazing stuff.
I love our partnership. I love that
Yeah.
the news and
We're very lucky. Thank you. Thank you.
it's good. Thank you also. And so let's just tell them again, I'm going to post all the links in the show notes, but follow SCW Mania on Instagram. Most of my crew lives on Instagram, but anywhere else you want them, any other calls to action we want to close with, Sarah?
Register for Mania.
Yes.
I'm going to take a picture right here. Look at this. How can I do this? There we go. All right.
Just go for a picture.
It's just, you can find a Mania in your area by going to scwfit.com, scwfit.com/mania.
And then when you go to their website, the little thing will pop up to join their mailing list, get their email. Look, did you see that? Have you noticed this new update on Zoom? Look, sorry, I know this is a podcast, but see, you probably haven't updated. There's hearts coming out of my hands. Okay, but we're podcasting, so look at that. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you at a Mania in 2024.
Bye, honey. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for joining in on the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. If you're interested in becoming a Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, or Warrior Kids instructor, go to warriorinstructors.com. But if you want more and found this episode amazing, please give us a rating. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. So remember, be brave, be bold, be blessed. And above all, listen, learn, love.